back at the Saddle Dome, and that collision along the boards that got Quinn so upset. Ryan Walter really knocked his helmet off. Quinn got very upset about it. Here's the 3-on-1 that was broken up by Green right there. Good defensive play. Bozak unable to get it through. And in the ensuing play in the corner, Walter and Quinn tangled, and they finally get them broken up.
Poplinski looking for the puck, kicks it to Fatia. Comes to McDonald. He scores!
Look out now.
And the Flames are breaking it open. Lanny McDonald with his 10th playoff goal.
Right off the faceoff, the loose puck. And again, the Canadiens just a little unsure of themselves. They're looking at each other like it's one of those I got it, you take it plays. And don't you know, it ends up right on McDonald's stick. Patillo handles it, Poplinski, and there's Lanny right there. Boom. 4-1 Calgary.
In comes Gainey. Waits for help. The whistle, slow whistle. Now we've got a couple of players challenging one another again. Reinhardt is there. The announcement of the goal of Lanny McDonald, his 10th of the playoffs. Here it is again.
Watch everybody just separate there. There's Gainey out the top. He touched it a little bit. And there's no defense there. Kordic is there. He gets back a little bit too late.
Good play by Jim Poplinski, though, as he was tied up in the circle, able to kick it free, and then with Patillo, swiped the puck over to Lanny McDonald.
Lanny King McDonald. 6.5 years with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, as Lanny said at the end of the St. Louis series, maybe that beard will grow longer and longer. But I'll tell you something, he'll be happy to get that beard wet with champagne. The Flames can drink from the Stanley Cup. This is game 1 of the best-of-7 series, and the Flames with 2 early goals here in the 3rd period. Now lead 4-1. And Gainey picked away by Vernon. Pinelli firing it out of his zone. It comes all the way down. And this will be an icing on Calgary. 6:02 to go in the 3rd period. And Jean Perron can't be happy with the way things have gone. His assistant is Jacques Laperriere.
Well, you pointed out, Sam, that only one other time have the Canadiens and Patrick Roy given up 4 goals. That was against the Hartford Whalers, and here again, that same score, 4-1. Montreal has just played, they've not played well. They've played a very poor hockey game from what they've been used to playing. It looked like they were on a pretty good roll.
We go back to that long layoff, taking away some of the game sharpness of the Canadiens, with the Flames still riding high on emotion. They were slow starting in the game, but once they got into it, once they got those goals, the goal by Pinelli, a big one to get them started.
They're all just unsure. They just seem unsure of themselves, and they're kind of looking to each other to do it. And you can't win hockey games by doing it that way.
Green stopping the puck. Ahead for McPhee. It's past him. Back behind the net. Screwden couldn't play it. Bartel getting it ahead of Colin Patterson. Worked out in the zone by Risebrough. And Doug Risebrough's had a solid game for the Calgary Flames against the team he once played for. Montreal Canadiens stopped at the line by Robinson, trying to get free. That shot by Green deflected wide of the net. And Baxter has it. Up the boards, Mike McPhee stops it. Around to Claude Lemieux. Centers off the stick of Vernon. There's Lanny McDonald, the player. And he clears it out. Gets it back. Hip check by Lanny McDonald. Green goes down. In comes Joel Otto. Otto centers all the way through. Bozak goes to the puck. Ball's down. And Haslam seems to Claude Lemieux. Past him, and McCown's pass hit his partner Al McInnes. Jamie McCown, the lead for Bozak off his stick. Center ice, McInnes plays it. Back into the Montreal end. Robinson checks by Lou. Icing call. Icing is the call. It was sent in from the Calgary side of the red line. 14:40 to go. 3rd period. Flames 4, Canadiens 1. The goals for Calgary here in this 3rd period. Quinn unassisted, a shorthanded goal at 2:14. McDonald his 10th of the playoffs from Fatiou and Poklinski at 3:33, less than a minute and a half after the Quinn goal. And the 4 goals equaling the most that Patrick Roy has allowed in any one game in the playoffs. This is the 16th game he's playing. Hartford got 4 on him in one game in the Adams Division Final. Hartford won 4-1. Pass Vernon, it goes around on the near side. Otto clears it out. Game 2 Wednesday is Sunday night here at the Olympic Saddle Dome. It'll be on the air at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Games 3 and 4 Tuesday and Thursday in Montreal. That shot by McCown, stopped by Roy. Out comes Naslund. Vernon stopping it for McInnes up the boards. Chelios intercepts. Slides it beyond the goal line. Jamie McCown plays it. He's tied up by Bobby Smith. Lou gave it away to Mats Naslund. Naslund tied up, ridden down by Poklinski. Penalty call. Yep. Canadiens will have their 6th power play chance of the game. 13:44 to go in the 3rd period. It's Calgary 4, Montreal 1. The penalty comes at 6:16.
Well, the one thing they don't want to do, Sam, is let the Canadiens back into it. They've got a 3-goal lead. Poklinski, almost a good penalty for him to take, as Naslund was in by himself almost on Vernon.
Poklinski for holding. Canadiens are 1 for 5 on the power play. They have failed on their last 4, and the last one, of course, devastating with Quinn coming up with a shorthanded goal. Naslund. Chelios. Ryan Walter along the boards, finds it to Claude Lemieux. Lemieux looking, trying to get it in front. He's checked by Sheehy, works it into the corner to Naslund. Robinson one-times it, save Vernon. Bounced off his chest, he gloves it, he holds it. 13:18 to go, 3rd period. Jim Kelly is standing by. Jim, what's going on?
Well, we'll all be standing by, Samuel, on Sunday night. It'll be ESPN, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. No blackout. And it'll be the Montreal Canadiens now facing a must-win situation, trying to earn a split in that 2nd game before going back home. The theory was the Canadiens would come here, be well-rested, maybe take game 1 and hold serve at home. But now, after taking a 1-0 lead, they fall behind with 4 straight goals. And Mickey, you played for the Montreal Canadiens with all those banners hanging up at the famous Forum. The Canadiens are just not supposed to allow 4 consecutive goals.
Those banners will not help them right now by any means. You just don't. You can't throw your stick out in the ice to expect to win hockey games, and that's exactly what the Canadiens did tonight here so far. They have not put forth a very good effort. They've stood around. They've not been in the game mentally at all, and as a result, the Flames are taking it to them pretty well all over the ice.
Otto and Walter on the draw.
Well, the effort seems to have been there, Sam. It's not a physical thing. It's mostly mental. The Canadiens just haven't been in the game.
I agree with you. McInnes plays it off the boards to himself and then drives it out of the zone.
Climb back in this game. They've got to score right here in this power play.
Across comes Bobby Smith. Knocked away. Comes to Robinson. Save Vernon. And Lube has the rebound.
Oh, that caught him high in the right arm.
Lube able to clear it out to center. Chelios takes it back. Now to Naslund. Canadiens trying to find a way in with 1 minute to go on the power play. Good poke check by Jamie McCown. Naslund in the corner. Controls the puck. Back pass to Chelios, on to Robinson. Chelios. Naslund takes it off the boards. Checked by McCown. The defense pairing of McCown and McInnes have been simply outstanding tonight for Calgary. Naslund along the boards. Winds it to Smith. Checked by McCown. Smith goes down. They're looking for the puck. Gary Fraser blows the whistle, stopping play. Rysbrough. Get up and go after someone. 28 seconds to go on the penalty to Jim Poklinski and 12-12 to go in the 3rd period. The captain of the Calgary Flames, the veteran Doug Rysbrough, with 1 more chance to go after a Stanley Cup. He was with Montreal in the 70s when they won 4 straight from 76 through 79.
When you look back on those teams, Rysbrough, of course, the one that's gone. He was on the 4. Robinson's been on 5 Stanley Cups. Gainey on 4. And Mario Tremblay, who was injured and not able to play the rest of the year, now up in the broadcast booth on the French network for Montreal. He was on those 4 Stanley Cups as well.
Great tradition of the Montreal Canadiens being challenged by the first-time finalists, the Calgary Flames, who were born in Atlanta in 1972, moved to Calgary in 1980. Five-on-4 man advantage for the Canadiens. Ryan Walter set to take the face-off against Joel Otto. Joel Otto is a one tough player. Sees a lot of ice time. Good face-off man, strong player. Richer has it knocked away by Colin Patterson. Otto was just out to take that face-off in the defensive zone, went to the bench after winning it. 5 seconds to go in the power play. Stolen by Bozak. Bozak comes in, and he shoots wide. It was deflected. The teams are back at full strength, and the Flames have killed off the last 5 power play opportunities for the Montreal Canadiens. Robinson has the puck, 11.5 minutes to go. Third period. Sheldon comes in. Poke checked away from him. On comes Dan Quinn. Lead to Tonelli. Back to Quinn. Checked by Deline. He leaves it there for Robin Bartel, who backhands it ahead. Ludwig sends it around the boards to Brian Skrudland. And out comes Greg Ludwig. He's bucked behind the net. Baxter plays it into the corner. Deline trying to avoid the check of Tonelli. Quinn just clears it out. Deline jumped away when he saw a white jersey coming. 10:55 to go in the third period. Lanny McDonald, great play to take the puck away. Fires toward the net. It was stopped by Roy. Ludwig almost screened his own goaltender. Roy was able to drop down and stop it, but the fans love it as Calgary maintains the 4-1 lead. Jim Kelly standing by. What's coming up, Jim?
I don't know what's coming up, Sam. I don't know what I've got. This is Superfan Sean. They didn't have a battery problem here. What is that chant that you guys are doing against Roy?
That's the Roy Hex. And judging from the score, 4-1, it's working. It's getting them psyched out. That side of the rink, they like to call it the Leroy Hex. This side calls it the Roy Hex.
Tell you what, pull back just a little bit. You've got to see this outfit from head to toe. Don't go away, Sean. Run us through this. Can I ask you a question? Where do you get your suit? Sam, this looks like your son's bar mitzvah.
Cleared out by Guy Carbonneau. 10:35 to go. That man has a lot of guts to wear that. Halloween coming early in Calgary. Reinhardt gave it away to Carbonneau. Guy Carbonneau has been very quiet tonight. Really hasn't been a big factor at all.
Very few of the Canadians have, but especially, you're right, Carbonneau, who's always really stuck out in a lot of the games. He blocked a couple of shots early in a Flames power play by McInnes, but other than that, the Canadians as a whole have been very quiet. Robinson has had some offensive chances, but it's not been a good night for the Canadians.
Immediately following tonight's game, Sports Center. Good win on everything that happened in sports today and tonight. We'll look at all the baseball scores, NBA playoffs, highlights of this game, golf, tennis, and much, much more. Sports Center immediately following Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Houston putting the Twin Towers to work on LA, beat them one time at home, and was everybody expecting the Celtics and the Lakers to be in the finals.
And you know how tough Houston is on their home court.
Yeah.
36-5 in the regular season. Puck coming all the way down. This will be an icing. They can hold the home court advantage. They'd have the Lakers on the ropes. Right here, Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Bob Johnson. What a job he's done in taking his Flames to the finals. Man, tremendous experience, 3 championships at the University of Wisconsin, coached the U.S. Olympic team, U.S. national teams. And the job he's done with Calgary bringing his Flames through that Edmonton series. What a memorable series. That will always stand out as one of the top series.
Whether they win the Stanley Cup or not. He admitted this morning, he said, you know, we like to coach off the ice. We really had very, very little time, 24 hours actually, to prepare for Montreal. And I think for that reason, he wanted to keep this game a very slow pace tonight. They've managed to do that. Maybe it's not all their work that they've kept it slow, because Montreal has just not come out of the gate, but it was to their advantage to play very tight, a lot of whistles, a lot of face-offs.
When they got the lead with Poplinski getting that goal late in the first period on the deflection at 1911, the second period was very key. They were very strong defensively, shut down every Montreal opportunity. Held them to 3 shots on goal for a large portion of that period. Joel Otto picks up the puck and comes in. Naslund goes over to check him. Otto in the corner, works it around the boards. Naslund goes down. Just couldn't play the bigger and stronger Joel Otto. Otto works it free, trying to work his way in front. Now it's Lube in the corner, hit by Chelios. Otto comes out in front. Knocked away by Bobby Smith. Otto again. Back to McCallum. The shot. Save Roy. Rebound played by Green as Otto was knocked down by Chelios. And Montreal got away with one there. Otto was cross-checked by Chris Chelios in front. Maley comes in, sending it side of the net. McCallum picks it up. Now it's McInnes. Works it ahead for Bozek. And able to roll it out of the zone where Lube comes down with McInnes on the right side. Drop for McInnes. Has room to shoot. Wide. Lube in the corner to Risebrow. His bat deflects up into the air. And the bouncing puck is played by Chelios. Colin Patterson all over him. Bobby Smith takes it down. 8:50 to go, third period. 4-1 Calgary. A whistle stops play. Offside was called. We're at the Olympic Saddle Dome with 8:49 to go in the third period. Calgary 4, Montreal 1.
Look at big Joel Otto. What a great bit of work he did, Sam, back here. You pointed out Naslund unable to play the side. Look at him use the body right there. And after this play happened, he got out in front. He had the left arm out, blocking off the Canadiens players. He handled the puck, finally got it back to the point. They got a shot on goal. Big, strong player.
Yes, he is. From Minnesota. Played his collegiate hockey, as Mickey told you earlier, at Division II school, Bemidji State. Was signed as a free agent last year by the Calgary Flames. Claude Lemieux tied up by Colin Patterson. Robin Bartel, number 15 for Calgary, battling with Brian Skrudland. Bartel works it free. Another punch by Bob Johnson, playing Robin Bartel, a rookie. He played part of this year in Switzerland, in the second half of the year at Moncton in the American Hockey League.
You're not afraid to change that lineup, is he? Put youngsters in there?
Coming down to 8 minutes left in the third period. Bartel, exactly 8 minutes to go, plays it around to Joe Mullen. And the whistle stops play as Lemieux knocked down Dan Quinn. Gary Fraser gets in the middle to try and settle things down. Here's Robin Bartel. Take a look at what happened along the boards.
Quinn and Ludwig. Bang. Shot. How do you do?
Two-line pass was whistled against the Flames, bringing it back for a face-off. They're wearing everything here in Calgary.
See the couple of guys around here with those great big colored mustaches? Lanny McDonald fan club. Well, I think when you talk about the Canadiens being off for 6 days, Sam, they just seem to have lost their edge. As much as the rest can help when you get a guy like Walter back in your lineup and what have you, but well, there's nothing like that competition of game competition. Even though the Flames have gone through 7 games and come back 48 hours after the St. Louis series.
And look at the power play opportunities they've allowed to get by. 6 chances, scoring on the first one. They've failed to click on the last 5 and given up a shorthanded goal. Tonelli works his way in, drops it off. He was deflected away from Joey Mullen. Pete Carbonneau comes out. Carbonneau again picks up the puck and comes in with Gainey trailing. Comes to Gainey for a shot. It's wide. Chelios drives one wide. From the near side and all the way out it goes. Game 2 Sunday night. 8 o'clock Eastern time. Right here on ESPN. Neil Sheehy. Bumped by Gainey. Chelios centers. It went wide on the shot by Pete Carbonneau. Walter gets it to Chelios. Carbonneau's in front again. It's centered off the stick of Bozak. And Bozak's able to clear it out. Rick Green is back for it. Just under 7 minutes to go in the third period. Chelios couldn't control. Bozak sends it in the Montreal zone. Lube will get to the puck. Lube looking in front. Rick Green is on him. Lube still with the puck. Rysbraw set up in the slot. The wrist shot is gloved by Roy. Drops it off to Rick Green. Down to Naslund. Naslund has the only goal for Montreal. It was the first goal of the game. A power play goal taken away by Rysbraw. He comes in and shoots. Save Roy. The rebound knocked away from Patterson. Robinson has it. Robinson sending it out. Bobby Smith trying to get around Al McInnes. It's cleared out by Lanny McDonald. Another outstanding defensive effort by the Calgary Flames. Played great defense in Game 7 on Wednesday night against the St. Louis Blues, shutting them out until 2 minutes remained in the game. Wound up winning it 2-1, taking the series in 7. And here, the even strength. Shut down the Canadiens. Offside whistled against Montreal. 5:46 to go. Third period of Game 1. Calgary 4, Montreal 1. Well, nighttime has fallen here in Calgary. Skyline's still looking good. The Flames are looking very good to their hometown fans. As they look to get the jump on the Montreal Canadiens here in the championship series. Vernon. He's been there when they've needed him.
Sure has.
Montreal really hasn't had sustained pressure on him.
From here and there, but they have had some great opportunities. Now, penalty being called on the play. And it'll be Calgary, I believe. I thought it might have been
looks
Ludwig.
like a Montreal penalty.
Well, Ludwig really fired an elbow at Kaplinski. Goodland with lots to say. It looks like Montreal.
Goodland's going.
Yep.
So the Flames, who have the 4-1 lead, will get their third power play opportunity of the game, their first one since the first period.
No, it's just not the night to be for the Canadiens at all. You talk about Carbonneau being inconspicuous. You haven't seen much of Lemieux, you know. I sit here and listen to you do the play-by-play, and, you know, when you hear guys' names that they're playing well, they keep coming through my ear all the time, and you're right. You just haven't heard much of Carbonneau. You haven't heard much of Lemieux. You haven't heard much of Bobby Smith, even Naslund. He had the one goal, but that's been about it. They've really been very, very quiet on the offense. And they haven't done so well on the defense either. They've stood around a lot in their own zone.
Tim Hunter, you had a look at him. He's still sitting out the 15 minutes for that fight with Nyland at the end of the second period. 5 minutes for fighting, 10-minute misconduct. Nyland and Hunter spent the third period in the penalty box. Dan Quinn on the power play. Al McInnes. Paul Reinhart with room. Try to get it across to Quinn. That's what Calgary likes to do. 2-on-2 coming down. Carbonneau dropped to Gainey. Gainey's shot deflected by McInnes. Quinn and Carbonneau in the corner. Now it's McInnes to play it. With half a minute gone by on the power play. Just under 5 minutes to go in the third period. Flames leading 4-1. Reinhart, Otto, Quinn, McInnes, and Mullen on. This is Joe Mullen with a puck. Back pass to Reinhart. Now McInnes. Reinhart to Quinn. Mullen slides into the slot. It went off his stick. Cutter off the boards. They look for that man cutting off the board.
They like to use Quinn on that right in the face-off circle to the right on his off wing. He scored quite a few goals in the playoffs like that.
Reinhart coming in, gets it to Mullen. Wow, plays it up off the glass. Gainey tries to clear and gets it out to center. 45 seconds to go on the power play for Calgary. McInnes. Steve Bozak. Bozak across the line. Feed to Pinelli. Back pass to Mullen. Down to McInnes. Moves the puck around well. Reinhardt to McInnes. On to Bozak. Pinelli trying to set up in front. Is wrapped up, his stick being held.
Trying to get to
Mullen
Mullen.
with Lawler. Slides through. Reinhardt with the puck. Checked by McPhee. 15 seconds to go on the power play. Bozak. Cross ice for Pinelli, deflected by Lawler. Pinelli with Lawler on him, taken away by Ryan Walter, who clears. That'll do it for the power play for Calgary. 3.5 minutes to go. Third period. Flames leading 4-1. Bobby Smith. Checked by Rysbrow. And McCown able to clear it out to Pinelli. Tried to lead Rysbrow. He was hooked by Bobby Smith. To stop.
Flames are not going to press too much now. They're just going to sit back and relax, dump it out of their own zone. They don't need any more.
Smith across the line, poke checked away, offside Montreal. Don't forget, immediately following tonight's game, Sports Center with a full wrap-up on the day's doings in the world of sports.
And the Canadiens will have to go home here in Calgary. They're home in Calgary and regroup, but try to get their heads together after this one. That's been a good night for most of the Canadiens by any means. You know, Patrick Roy has looked a little shaky at times. He's just
I wondered on that goal by Quinn. I know it's a short-handed goal, but I thought he had the angle played. One that he should have had from long range.
Some shots that he's handled and didn't allow goals that he just looked shaky on. But
first two goals you really can't fault him on. One was the rebound by Pinelli. The other one, the deflection by Pavlinsky.
Right, exactly. He stopped the breakaway by Lube as well. Sunday night, we will see the Canadiens get back together. I'm sure that they'll come with a much, much better effort. You can bet on it.
2:50 to go in the game. Otto, back pass to McCown. Wrists it into the slot off the stick of Lube. Lube bumped by Ludwig. Lube really hustling in the corner. Fine play by Lube to win the puck. Back to Sheehy. A shot. That hit break Ludwig. McCown back to break up the play. Naslund went down. McCown to Otto. On to Bozak. Lube on the right wing. Gets the pass. And shoots. It deflected off Lawler. Knocked away by Roy. Out comes Mats Naslund. He meets Jamie McCown, who stops him. Naslund drops it along the board for Chelios. In deep for Bailey. Now it's Chelios. He scores. Nice play by Chris Chelios. With a give and go with Dave Maley. And with 2:04 to go in the third period, it's now 4-2.
Chelios just kept coming up the right side. Little Naslund dumped it off to him. And here's the give and go. Chelios to Maley, and he keeps going to the front of the net. Two Flames converge on Maley. A little bit of a deke and right between the pads. Now Vernon, he got a piece of that one as well, as he did on the first goal by Naslund. But it gets by him. 2:04 to go. And I don't think the Canadiens really, the way they played, have a chance to get back in this. But funnier things have happened in this game. So.
Yeah. The Flames will tell you about it when it happened to them against St. Louis.
A minute 8 to go. Kozlowski scored. Right. I think they trailed 4-1 and 5-2 in the game. And back came the Blues. And you know, they won it in overtime by a goal by Wickenheiser.
For Chris Chelios, his second goal of the playoffs. Time of the goal is 17:56. Dave Maley and Mats Naslund getting the assists. Robinson to Lawler. Less than 2 minutes to go. Roy is checking the bench to see if John Perron wants him to come off for an extra skater. Pavlinsky just batting it out of the zone. Skrudlin is there to play it. To Lawler. Minute 40 to go. Vernon stops it, looks around. Plays it to Pavlinsky. Pavlinsky trying to dump it out. McDonald taps it ahead. Two-line pass. McDonald didn't tap it ahead.
I thought it hit Robinson, actually. Somebody in center ice.
Minute 31 to go. Now Patrick Roy is looking toward the bench for instructions, and Jean Perron is signaling for a timeout. Montreal calling timeout. Roy goes over to the bench. There's the Canadiens will have the face-off just inside the Calgary blue line and discussing how they'll play it.
Well, they might as well, if they get a chance, they might as well get them out. I mean, you lose 5-2, 4-2, it doesn't make any difference.
Right.
Get them out of there and get that extra skater on and see if you can't get a quick one and take it from there.
Sports Center follows this game.
Another look at the second Canadiens goal. The two Flames defensemen there. They drop in deep, and there's Chelios and the give and go from Maley. Make it 4-2.
He warded off that check along the boards by McCown and just kept heading for the net. Patrick Roy.
Not used to this situation, is he?
No, hasn't found himself trailing in too many games. 11-4 in the playoffs this year. And
1.77 goals against coming into tonight.
His save percentage was .929 coming into tonight's game.
He'll go back in probably. If they're going to pull him out, Sam, they'll wait. I suppose he'll play part way.
He's back at the top of the circles, high in the slot, ready to head for the bench.
He can get control, dump it in back of the Calgary net, put everybody up.
It's cleared out by Colin Patterson, and Roy slides back into his crease. Chelios with a puck check by Bosek, gets it to Robinson. Now Bobby Smith on the Gainey, and Roy heads for the bench. Extra skater is on for Montreal. Canadiens' goal is empty as the puck rolls into center. Patterson trying to beat Robinson to it. Lemieux picks it up. 1:05 to go in the third period. Gainey fires it in. McInnes plays it. 1 minute to go as the puck is sent down the ice, and Chelios will have to go back for it. 4-2 Calgary. Lemieux couldn't play it. Montreal net is empty. Chelios gets it across to Robinson. 45 seconds to go. Now Claude Lemieux gets by Risebrough. McCown trying to break up the play. Does. Smith takes the puck. 3 men in front, 4 men in front for Montreal. Now Naslund goes over to the boards to try and help out as McCown wrestles down Smith. Puck is dumped out. Risebrough comes ahead with McDonald. Risebrough scores.
Do it. Lucky Risebrough, the two veterans, Risebrough and McDonald, break down with nobody in the goal. And with just 25 seconds to go, it's all Flames. Game number 1 belongs to the Calgary team. There's the veteran Risebrough, the captain. And with this game being finally decided, Sam, our Hartford Insurance player of the game as we watch Risebrough break down.
Is the man who sent the puck out to Doug Risebrough, Jim Kuklinski. With a goal and 2 assists.
Big Jim Kuklinski. That second goal really was a big one. Late in the period, the first period, and put the Flames up 2-1. Our Hartford Insurance player of the game, and of course the big assist on McDonald's goal that really put it away, the 4th goal. And we'll adjourn to Sunday night.
Yes, sir. 8 o'clock
2.
Eastern time. Be with us for game 2. Sports Center is coming up. Full wrap-up of the day in sports immediately following tonight's game. Games 3 and 4 in Montreal, Tuesday and Thursday nights. Start times of both games, 7:30 Eastern time. Ken Wilson and Bill Clement will bring you the action from the Forum in Montreal. Doug Risebrough, the veteran, boy, is he enjoying this. Another chance to go for the Stanley Cup.
But don't you know it would be awfully sweet for Risebrough, of course, to win that Stanley Cup against the team that he won for with originally.
The team that traded him.
Yeah, a little
Sent
extra.
him away.
But the Calgary Flames are a long way from the Stanley Cup. One game is only one game, and that's it. They've still got to win 4 from the Canadiens. And, well, you know they are going to come back in here Sunday night and put up a much, much better effort.
Robin Bartel. Mullen tries to clear it out. Bartel takes it out. The fans count off the final seconds. The Calgary Flames, with Mike Vernon in goal, have won game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And they lead the series 1-0 as they win it 5-2.
Hakan Lube, who had a pretty strong hockey game as well. Little Mike Vernon now. Big congratulations to the rest of his guys. And as you pointed out, Sam, in the third period, the Canadiens did not test them strongly. 24 shots on goal. But they had 3 or 4 at crucial times in the hockey game when it was 1-1 and 2-1 that Vernon did come up big. One I recall, Naslund shot and the rebound on Dahlin, and couple of shots by Larry Robinson. So the little guy does it again for the Calgary Flames.
Poplinski was our player of the game, but outstanding defensive work by the Calgary Flames. The effort of McInnes and McCown on the back line, superb tonight, and the Flames have gotten a jump in the Stanley Cup Finals. They defeat the Montreal Canadiens. The score of 5-2. We'll be right back.
There's your final score. The Flames of Calgary 5, the Canadiens of Montreal 2. Game 1 goes to Calgary. Game 2 coming up live on ESPN on Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Welcome back to the Saddle Dome, everybody. It was 1-0 Montreal early in this hockey game, and the theory went, well, maybe the Canadiens could come in and steal Game 1. After all, they were well rested after eliminating the New York Rangers. And, of course, the Calgary Flames extended to the limit by the St. Louis Blues. And Calgary really hasn't had much rest in any of the playoffs. But some good work by Jim Poplinski and by John Tonelli, a couple of veterans. Calgary came fighting back, took a 2-1 lead. Then the shorthanded goal by Dan Quinn. And 45 seconds later, Lanny McDonald made it 4-1. 5-2 the final score. So the Flames sneak away with victory number 1 in this best of 7. You'll see all the games live on ESPN. We'll see you Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Back with more after these messages.
The NHL on ESPN has been brought to you by your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. And by Sears Tire and Auto Centers. There's more for your life at Sears. And by Budweiser Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. I'm Tom Mees with Mike Liut back in our hockey studios. Mike, quickly, Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals history. Calgary a winner and really in control once they got the lead on Montreal.
Well, Montreal lost the first period, and if they follow suit, they'll lose the game. I think that they have to come out with a little more intensity. I think the layoff is something that hurt Montreal, and 7 days, you don't ever have to go through that during the regular season, that type of layoff, and I think that you'll see them a much better hockey team in Game 2.
It almost seemed that at times in this game that Montreal lost interest in the game, if that's possible in the Stanley Cup.
Well, again, it can appear that they're tentative in the fact that when they don't have the lead, it takes them out of their defensive nature, and they don't know exactly what to do, it seems. And their power play not clicking as well as it can. I think that they have to put a little bit more pressure on Mike Vernon on the power play, crowd the front of the net. But Calgary, a big, strong team, and their wingers seem to be able to put a little pressure on Montreal, and if they can continue to do that, they're going to have enough scoring chances to win.
Thanks for your insights tonight, and we'll see you back here with us for Game 2 at 8 Eastern on Sunday night.
Absolutely.
Okay, Mike Liut, our special guest, and he'll be with us here in our hockey studios throughout the Stanley Cup Finals. Calgary wins Game 1 by a score of 5-2 from the Olympic Saddle Dome. Game 2 will be on ESPN Live on Sunday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific Time, live again from the Olympic Saddle Dome in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Now for Mike Liut and everybody on our Road to the Cup crew, I want to remind you that SportsCenter comes your way next. Thanks for being with us. 5-2 Calgary. They lead the series 1 game to none. We'll see you Sunday night. Good night, everyone.